Evil Superman isn't a subversion or an original take. It's the basic fucking idea Superman was criticizing. There is something I've been seeing a lot in media discourse, the treatment of depressing or cynical media as being more honest or truer. This isn't a recent issue, far from it. Back in the 70s, we already had authors saying how people refuse to admit the banality of evil and the terrible boredom of pain. But there's a specific angle that drives me up the wall in modern discourse, and it relates to the Man of Steel himself, Superman. Saying evil Superman is a boring trope is a horse so thoroughly beaten that whatever is left of the original horse is now a fine powder strewn amongst 1,000 blades of grass. But I want to offer a slightly modified complaint in the form of evil Superman is missing the fundamental point of Superman and the superhero media he spawned. OG Superman was a subversion. Superman was a subversion on the fascist reading of the Übermensch. To summarize the concept to those unaware, the Übermensch is a philosophical idea proposed by Nietzsche which states that if people abandon the idea of religion dictating right or wrong, there ceases to be a right or wrong as a societal or individual standard. As such, he says that an Übermensch would be someone who comes and supplies an alternative set of beliefs based on a love of life and the earth as a whole, as by doing so they have become the ideal human. The fascist reading of the Übermensch drops the whole love of life and earth as a whole bit and only focuses on the ideal human who creates a set of values for society. Their view of the Übermensch was of a destructive and totalitarian one. The very thing Nietzsche was rallying against is genetically perfect and enforces their worldview on the rest of mankind. The creation of the comic book character Superman, by two Jews who fled to America to escape anti-Semitism, was by taking the idea of the Nazi Übermensch and making this person someone who does love the earth and uses their power to help others and lead mankind on a better path. The actual Übermensch as described by Nietzsche, with some added superpowers. Superman was a subversion of the cynicism and evil that plagued the world by presenting someone who was actually sincerely good and needed no reason for it. A genetically superior specimen who rejected the idea of might makes right and cared about all life no matter how minor. Call it naive, silly, or childish, but such an idea when people were being slaughtered by the millions was fucking bold. Turning this symbol of fighting cynicism, of belief of the good in people's hearts, and a proof that we can be better, into the Nazi ideal? Of saying that the strong will rule over the weak with power and fear, and there's nothing we can do about it? It's not a subversion. You aren't brave or special for suggesting it. It's the default assumption for billions of people.